Hi, my name is Taru Carter, and this is our final project for CS-177 Citrus Launch. I have created this game here, and I've named it 2D Game. Here we have an hierarchy here right in the center. We have the name of our scene, which I'm going to call sample scene. First, we have our main camera. We have our side tile sprite and our grass skin sprite, which is essentially our setting for the backdrop. Under that, I have some plank sprites, which I have created. Each one of these plank sprites been put on here to be used as a platform to be able to use the player to jump up on. And that brings us up to our next option, which is our player, which is our UFO figure here. Also, I have created a guide script. Um, I've created a guide um, object as well, which I will talk about later on in the game. Also here are some pickups, which I have put gold meteor rights into the game. I gave them a cool little rotational spin, which I'll explain in the scripts. So let's move on over to the scripts. So here we have the first script we're going to talk about is our camera movement script. Everything is basic. I had a hard time putting this together, but I did utilize some of the things that I have learned throughout the semester. So here for our camera movement under this void update section, put this small script that says transform dot position equal to the new vector 3. So basically, that's saying that we've created our variable target. We are taking the target, specifically the transform position x value, transform position y value, and z value, creating this new vector, which will then in turn have the camera um, follow the target instead of staying stationary. So let's move on to the next script. Our next script here is our player movement. A few things. We have some variables up here. We have some public variables, which I've named speed, jump, and a boolean, which is jumping. We have a private, we have a private function, which is a move, and user biases. So whenever it starts, the void starts, we're automatically gonna get the component to our rigid body, which I've named RB2D. Moving on down here to our first void update session. This right here allows us to get the horizontal, basically get the access of our left and right movement. Take the rigid body. We are going to have the speed and multiply it times the move, which are variables which we can change depending on how fast we want to move. The two, we assign it to our rigid body, of course, which is our plan. Moving down, we have a function here. We put a statement here, which basically says if the space bar, which is the default setting for the jump, if it is jump, if the space bar has been pressed and is jumping is set to false, meaning if both of these are true, then we are to jump, which means we're going to add force to our rigid body, which is the player, and we're going to be able to allow him to jump in forward movement. Down here under a private void on collision into 2D, we have basically this is in order to allow us to not continue to jump as in like a double jump. We are only going to jump when our game object is in contact with, with an object that has the tag of a ground. So if our game object is touching something that has with a tag of a ground, we're going to set the is jumping to false, ultimately being able to allow us to activate the jump feature. Now, to counteract that so that we do not double jump while in the air, we have another private void function, which we have the on collision is exit 2D. So basically saying that if the game object is touching an object that has the tag ground, his jumping is going to be turned to true, which means that if you press the spacebar while in the air, you will not be able to jump because our rule states that here in the void update that the jump button and the is jumping has to be false in order for us to jump. So if it is turned to true while you're in the air, you will not be able to jump a second time. Lastly, we have down here under the private void on trigger enter 2D. So this is for our pickups. Basically, if our game object is in contact with anything that has the tag as a pickup, we are going to set that game object, set the answer to false, meaning it's going to disappear, giving the illusion that we have collected the pickup. Moving on to our next script, which is our rotator script. So this one here is what we put for our pickups. We gave them a full little rotational spin. So under this void state section, we have the transform dot, specifically the rotate feature, which is a new vector three, given the X, Y, and Z axis. So we have entered these digits, entered these values to give them a rotational spin and multiply them and time delta time, which in essence will, if you multiply it by time, delta time gives the rotational spin for more fluid movement, no matter the frame rate of your computer settings. And lastly, our last script here is our guide and restart. So I created a new void on collision into 2D. So basically, anytime the game player is in contact with the game object with the tag player, basically we are going to uh, contact the or access the scene manager and load the scene, which is our scene we had. This is I've found this on the internet, and this allows us to, if we were to create multiple levels, we could actually once you get to the end of the scene, jump into an object and it will jump you into the next scene. You can have a level two, level three, level four, and in order to do this, we had to add this, I believe it's a class. Um, Up here, using Unity Engine scene management, which allows us to access this feature. Let's go over here. Okay, again. Let's see. I want to play this. So, as you can see, we're going to start. Sorry for all the blue very much. Of uh, adjusted that. Let's move on. So we have this cool feature of the rotation spin of pickup items. It's press spacebar, object will jump, click on the left. I can move our player across the screen. If I hit spacebar twice, nothing happens while you're in the air because you're no longer in contact with tag of ground. Planks also have the tag of ground, so therefore while I'm on the plank, I can jump to the next plank. But I cannot double jump while in the air. So let's move across. If I were to jump and fall here, it will activate scene management and load the scene all over again. So let's try to make it to the end. And moving on, I missed one. Oh, can't do that. Got to go back and start again. Here we go. Let's get it all the way down and jump. Here we go. Jump over and jump over and jump up. Oh, we made it. And jump up to the next platform. Jump to the next platform. Jump to the next platform. And here we go. Keep on moving. Jump to collect all the tickets. Got that nice rotational spin. Using that, multiplying it by time, delta time, so that it gives it a more fluid movement. These aren't actual 3D shapes. I did have a hard time putting in a 3D object cube. Couldn't get the color to come out correctly. I tried to add material to it, and I just missed some stuff. So I just to using these 2D objects, which have a weird rotational look once it turns a certain way, but it gives it a cool little feature. Now that we came to the end of the game, of course, I use hard disk Sprite. And basically, I've loaded the scene management, um, scene manager to this object. And if you jump into this object, it will reload the scene back to, we are now back to the beginning. And here we go. Thank you all for watching. I fell. And thank you for watching. Oh, actually, I'm not done. I'm going to show you a few more things. Back here in our scene view, I'm going to show you that the guide object that I have here is a hierarchy as these planks, which you can't see it in the game view, but there's these planks down here. The script has, I'll actually click on it and show you down here. Put the guide and restart script on these planks so that if you fall off, you will restart the scene and that will be all. This is the entire game out. It's the entire game that I created. And I placed approximately 52 pickups along this game. Thank you all for watching.